So we had fun the other day. Well, I had fun. You
fun.
were a little bit on edge when we went. I know it was a little not what you were expecting for the spring training game, because I just, went with it like, oh, we're going on a bus. We're going with some people from the villages. It'll be so much fun.
Okay, well,
my friend Doug Colson was like, hey, yeah, do this. I was like, okay.
You have to set it up properly. You said, hey, Lori, we're going to a spring training game.
And we're going with people from the villages on a tour bus.
That's what you said.
So
then we pull up.
Yeah, we did pull up.
As soon as I pull
oh my
up,
God, you had it.
Lost
it.
Into the parking lot. A guy comes over. We roll down the window, and he says, "Hey, are you the tour guide?" And I'm like,
"No. Why would I be the tour guide?
Why would I be the tour guide?"
Well, then I was the ambassador, is what it was called actually. I thought you were gonna have a stroke. I literally thought you were gonna get off the bus and leave
because I've traveled in groups before, and when you pay for something, there is a certain level of service you expect.
And what service did they get?
Had you not been there, they would have gotten shit.
Who did they fall in love with? Who did they fall in love with?
You fixed everything.
They tried to pass the hat and give me money.
They did pass the hat and give me money.
Yeah, but I stopped it because I felt bad. I was like, oh my God, I'm not a stripper.
I did the relationship part of it to try to talk to them and make them feel okay, better.
It was actually really cool to meet some of them, and
But I wouldn't have known to go downstairs and keep arguing with people and say these people need seats. I'd have been like, I don't know what to tell you. We're gonna go.
Yeah.
We're gonna get on the bus. We're gonna drive back to the villages. We're gonna beat the shit out of Doug, and we're gonna get everybody's money back.
Doug's gonna kill you for saying that.
This is awful.
And I love Doug. And it really wasn't Doug's fault. What happened was this: he put together a great thing. It was amazing. What we had was whoever assigned the tickets. It was amazing. We were on that rooftop deck behind first base. Unlimited food, drink, whatever. First of all, I do have to call out whoever built that deck for George Steinbrenner Field or whatever. It was horrific. Like, that's not how you build it. But okay, that's fine. That's fine.
That was a place to go socialize, BS with your buddies, and watch this much of the game. These people wanted.
No, they came to watch the game. And I realized that, and I just refused to take no for an answer. That's not how that works. And we got them seats, and it was amazing. And they had the time of their lives, and it was great.
Friends,
and they'll do it again, and we'll have a great time. And I told them to sign up for the one in a few months. We can actually go to Boston and do it. But it was so cool to actually talk to them on the way back too, and listen to like the things like the guy that my friend Norm was he a 30-year Army? Retired Army? Yeah.
I think that's what he said.
And they're living the time of their lives. That was my one question. Remember, I said, "Is everybody here from the villages?" They're like, yeah. I'm like, do you love it? And they were like, oh my God, we love it.
See, I don't mind being in charge. I just needed a heads up.
I'm a wing it kind of girl.
I was like,
I'm a wing it kind of girl.
This is what life with Shayna's like. You get on the bus, you think you're going to see a game, and then suddenly somebody says, you're in charge, right? And I'm like,
I was perfectly fine with that.
No, I just
everybody my cell phone number like I was the chaperone on the field trip. That's what I was. I was the chaperone.
You did. You did well with that. You did way better than I was, because I just went straight to cussing. I'm going to kill somebody.
Oh my God, I know. I thought you were going to kill me. I was like, oh my God, I didn't know. I really didn't realize.
This would be important questions when somebody says, we could have been sex trafficked. Get on the bus. Just follow the people. And I'm going, no, I don't want to get on the bus and follow the people. Back. And she's like, all right, let's go.
I'd have been so obnoxious they'd have brought me back. Or duct tape my mouth shut.
We survived it.
But we had a great time. It was a great time. Beautiful weather.
A chapter in our book someday.
It's just so funny the different personalities we have. I was like, okay, I'll tour guide you. Larry's like, I think I'm gonna kill you. So today we get to talk to, let me say it the right way, the CEO of the Realtors Association of Lake and Sumter County, Steve McDonald. I'm so excited. I've heard great things about him. I'd love to hear what he has to say and what they're doing.
Thank you for joining us on the Style Podcast today. Today, Shayna and I are welcoming Steve McDonald, the CEO of the Lake Sumter Realtors Association. With my country accent, I try to say Realtors instead of realtor.
Hey, I'm from Nashville, I understand.
But we get it. But we are so pleased today to have you with us. So welcome to our podcast.
I am surrounded by greatness. I'm so thankful that you had me here. Yes, and you
I
said it
liked
correctly.
him before we started.
She did. We got it on the air. And you said it correctly. Realtors.
Realtors. Well, I'm always going to remember it because the little thing you said.
Not a docator. We don't call our doctor a
But there's
docator.
not an A in doctor, so I need a different analogy.
Some people say, well, I'll remember it because of that. But I love it. So what is happening in the real estate industry in Lake and Sumter County?
So many good things. You know, Central Florida has, right here, 3 of the hottest listing and selling markets: Sorrento, Claremont, and the Montverde area. The great things are coming this way. You know, with Orlando busting at the seams, SpaceX coming, the widening of the turnpike, the tremendous growth here. It's phenomenal. And, you know, the economy is strong when housing starts are there. And we love seeing the roofs. At least I do.
Oh, yeah, of course. I know, for some of us that are from here, we love the idea of some of it staying green, of course, but I've always been fascinated by the housing market. I love it. I love going to neighborhoods, and I love seeing people take pride in where they live and the difference that can make in a neighborhood and the increase in value. I know Wildwood is also a very large grow. It's actually one of the fastest growing, is what someone told me recently. It's probably partly because of the villages, or...
Well, with great thanks to those folks at the villages. I mean, they definitely had a vision, and they've got 20, 30 years of growth projected. What is really nice for Sumter County, it's the lowest tax rate in the state of Florida, right off the turnpike. It's a beautiful place to live. That's why I moved here 3 years ago. So lots of good things coming to Wildwood, wonderful things in Lake County. We're in a good place, y'all.
We really
And
are.
we would have, I grew up and was born here in Leesburg, but grew up in neighboring Sumter County in the South End. And what's fascinating to me is I would have done anything to get out of Sumter County at the time because it had nothing. Now it's got everything. Now who would have ever imagined?
Girl, we
And
thought we were big stuff when we got Red Lobster and Olive Garden out
I
by the
know.
mall
We
in
thought-
Leesburg. So
we thought we were hot when we got a McDonald's in Bushnell. So to hear you say that Sorrento is one of the fastest growing places, who would have ever thought that as well?
Right.
yeah.
Now, Claremont we knew because Claremont's closer to Disney and closer to Orlando, so we knew that was always going to be a hot market. But who knew that this area would explode the way that it has?
Well, have y'all gotten in your cars to drive down south of Claremont to see what's going on? Wellness Way, the Horizon West area.
I need to, but first I got to make it from South Leesburg to Claremont, and I'm going to need them to 3-lane. Happy little Highway 27.
Was that you that flipped me off?
It might have been.
Probably.
It might have been. Were you driving the speed limit or below in the left
I don't
lane?
do that.
Okay,
Hypothetically
boo, that's good.
speaking, to my friends in law enforcement, I'm a law.
My friends in law enforcement, no, I don't drive the speed limit. It's okay.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You guys, yeah. The craziness with the traffic and all that is part of the growth, and it's part of the what happens when growth happens. But
Well, I always knew. I mean, there was a part of me too, growing up in Leesburg, that said I want to get out. But I came home, and I've raised a family here, and I have to say it's kind of nice to see other people appreciate Lake County
yes,
for what I knew it always could be,
Our
and
little
seeing so many wonderful things happen.
Well, I live in Mount Dora. When Southern Living came to Mount Dora,
Mount Dora's the cream de la crop.
and wrote that article,
yeah,
it blew the doors wide open.
yeah.
Yes.
And I'm a Tennessee boy, so I love my lakes, I love my cows, but I also love being close to Orlando.
Yeah.
Be there 35 minutes.
How did you find us from Tennessee?
I love this story. So I'm a second generation realtor. SOB. I'm a SOB, son of a broker. I'm a son of a broker. My mother was a broker in Tennessee. When it was time for me to go to college, I went to Florida State, go Noles. Yes, double Knoll here.
I liked him. My daughter is a junior there.
Awesome. Did undergrad and graduate school at Florida State. Moved back to Nashville, was there for a while, was a realtor for 7 years. I worked on the regulatory side, which was really great because we promulgated rules. We regulated the real estate license, the black and white stuff, the policing of the license. I love that.
Right.
You were like IA in law enforcement, like the
Yeah.
internal affairs people.
It sounds a little more glamorous than state job. But I was in a regulatory agency. Then I moved over to the State Association, Tennessee Realtors. and this opportunity came up. I always, in the back of my mind, wanted to come back to Florida. And here I am. It just, you know how life, it takes the puzzle pieces a long time to get together.
Didn't you just love Tallahassee?
Yes, but it's a different town now.
I went to school there for a little bit before I didn't do what I was supposed to do and ended up finishing at UCF. However,
Go Knights.
I still love the town. The energy that it puts off is just, I pull in that, and it's got the trees. You feel a little bit more like you're in South Georgia.
True.
It's beautiful, the hills and everything. I don't know. I love it up there.
Well, and I love UCF too. We have a partnership with the Realtors Association with UCF in their College of Business and the School of Real Estate. We're excited about that.
That's really awesome.
I'm kind of feel like I'm in a gang. You're going to have to beat me out of the real estate gang to get me out.
No, I love it. I've told you before we started today, I've always been fascinated. I have tons of friends in the industry, but I've always been fascinated. I was that person that loved to watch the HGTV shows, when they would get houses ready and things, and the little tweaks. And I know when I sold the house before the one we're in now, my beautiful, wonderful late friend Lori Grizzard listed it, and
Beautiful, beautiful lady.
one of the most amazing humans that has ever graced my presence. Miss her every day. But it was so funny because I learned so much from her in my HGTV shows. When she came out, I remember her saying, Shayna, I cannot find anything I need to change in this, what you staged. Just cut that tree branch right there. And to me, that was like the biggest compliment because I did learn from her and I saw things and just little tweaks, and then watching a new family move in, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world, to see someone else grow there.
Do you still watch the shows?
Oh, love them.
Which one's your favorite?
My favorite?
I like Chip and Joanna.
I do like Chip and Joanna. My favorite is the Jackson, Mississippi couple that come into the town.
Laurel, Mississippi.
Laurel, Mississippi. Sorry, Laurel. I have said for years, if we could get them to come here or get someone to do a spinoff in Leesburg, and
Where
we
they're
go
changing
west,
the whole community. I love
So
it.
they're here in Florida. They're just not in Leesburg. They actually sought out Sebring.
Okay.
So you're going to be seeing the changes like they did in Wetumpka, Alabama,
Uh-huh.
in Sebring, Florida.
We need them here. There's some like we were doing our 10,000 steps today. We got to get back to that because I kind of got off the wagon.
we fell off
But
that
you walk through these downtown areas, and
We see the potential.
the
It's
potential
beautiful.
is amazing.
Well, what I love about where we live in Florida, this part of Florida specifically, there's so much history. You've got the Native American component. You've got the citrus industry. I mean, Sanford alone, I just found out the other day, shipped all the celery. Did y'all know that?
I didn't know that.
It was
I
like
didn't know that.
You know, oranges. I didn't know
Celery.
celery.
Something new every day of my life.
Yalaha's orange and Indian. What is it? Yakalaha. What? Oh gosh, I mispronounced it. It was the watermelon capital.
Aklawaha.
Aklawaha.
Aklawaha, maybe.
Is it that one?
That's a
I don't
town.
know. We'll have to look that up.
I know.
I don't know. I know Center Hill used to be the string being capital of the world. So we've got all kinds of good stuff here, but I think it's just amazing the growth. And as a realtor in this area, I about said it wrong. As a realtor in this area, what are you looking forward to with the growth that's coming and with the changes that are coming?
So for my side of the table, I need to ensure that our advocacy voice is strong, that we are advocating even locally with sign ordinances with the city, with being at the seat at the table with Lake 100 to make sure the 14 municipalities in Lake County can start to come together to talk about our water issues, to talk about the traffic locally. Then at the statewide, we're having a seat at the table to ensure that we're talking about insurance. We're talking about condo reform. We're advocating for our state parks to stay state parks. Those issues. They all come together. That's our biggest piece. And then the other component is I've got to offer membership services to our independent contractors that pay into a membership to keep them business sustainable. Because the market is unbelievable. It's either unbelievably good. For some, they're doing very well. And some, they've had to readjust kind of their business strategy and plan. I've talked to some of our members that didn't close a transaction last year.
Oh, wow.
And there's some statistics out there that in 2024, which blows my mind that I'm not only this old, but we're this part of the 2000s, that almost 70, 71, 74, depends on the report you read, didn't have a single transaction last year.
That's crazy to me.
Why? Why do you think that is? What's their biggest hurdle?
So first-time home buyers are moving up in age. 38 years old is the average nationally for a first-time home buyer.
Which is this crazy to me. That
Isn't it?
it really is because I
built
28?
I built my first home.
Well, that
at
was just
21.
last year. That was just last year for y'all.
That's right. That's right.
It was. Plus a few, but okay.
I think it's a generational thing. I also think it's a money. You know, if folks are coming out of school with $150,000 in student loan debt,
Absolutely.
ugh. And then the price of entry into a home in Florida
Has skyrocketed.
has skyrocketed.
It has. Do you see that leveling out? Is it? I think interest rates played a role for some people too.
100%.
100%.
100%. It can price someone out of a house.
It can. It can.
Absolutely.
And then you add that in with the taxes along with it and things like that. I know. I looked at my tax bill. I'm just going to throw out there that
Yeah.
I'm not on the lake, people, but mine aren't that much different than those on the lake in my neighborhood. It is crazy though. But that generation, I think, the ones that typically how old we were when we were buying houses for the first time, yeah, they have different, I don't know, ideas of what their happiness
Trajectory,
is. Yeah, maybe that's a good word for it. That is a good word for it.
I think I was 22 when I first purchased my home. But I also realized the purchase price and the game plan. And maybe that's because I had realtors as parents. It was going to be my first time investment. I knew I was going to move up, but I had to build that equity to do so. But you had talked about mortgage rates, and you're correct. You know, folks that purchased or refinanced when it was 2.5%, 3%.
Thank God.
Yep.
Me,
I
yeah.
bought mine.
Look at that chunk out of property that still hasn't made it back to the inventory. So we have this pent-up demand for folks that want to buy a house. We have folks holding on to a really great rate that we're seeing sellers now stay in a house 10 years. They're not coming on the market.
Right.
No, and especially I know the neighborhood I live in. It is one of those neighborhoods that when a house does go up for sale, it's not there long. It's just not because it's a coveted.
Like a pack of dogs on a three-legged
Yes,
cat.
it's a coveted neighborhood. But like you said, we were there a year and refinanced to like a little over 2. I'm not going anywhere.
Well, we're definitely having different conversations now. When 2020 COVID, I never want to live that again.
Me either. I balked at it then, but I'm gonna need everybody not to fall for the BS anymore. Okay, keep going.
What she said. Houses, and mainly because the realtors advocated that real estate was an essential service, it was some of the biggest years for agents. You know, houses were selling. There was great appreciation. Well, not that the market where we are now is bad. It's just going more to a traditional market with months of inventory starting to be about 4.5 months. Folks are having to actually use their knowledge to market themselves, to have a conversation with a buyer and a seller of what to expect, other than just, I take your listing, put it on the multiple listing service, and have 13 offers.
Do you think that they're having to have a realistic conversation too about what the property's really truly worth, or valued at, and what it's really going to sell for? Because I noticed that, for a while there, I was like, really?
Well, when you have buyers that are eager to purchase, when you have buyers coming from states where they've had great appreciation, our biggest migration is still from New York, New Jersey, Texas. So folks have seen great appreciation. They're coming here and they see houses that would typically be much more there. They're buying.
Right.
And they're buying more than we thought that a house would bring. But a market means somebody will pay for
What they're willing to pay for it.
right.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Disability Consultants and Lake Center Home Care. We'll be right back.
Get all the Social Security disability benefits you deserve with disability consultants Chris Bell and Jeff Bell. Our experienced Florida certified ADR handle claims on a contingency fee basis, meaning you don't pay unless we recover money for you. We have established a strong reputation as a firm that cares and provides the best care to its clients. Call us today or visit cbell.com.
Welcome back to Style Podcast. We'd like to once again thank our sponsors, Disability Consultants and Lake Center Home Care. Joining us today for our great conversation about real estate in Lake County is Steve McDonald. Thanks for joining us.
I am so honored that you had me. I'm kind of tickled. I'm like, how did I get this honor to be in your grace?
Oh, we love that.
I
We
really
love
do
that.
like you a lot. I'm just going to need you to know that. I think you're
appreciate it.
fabulous. And
Can
I
I
might keep you
brag?
and put you in my back pocket.
Yes, you
Well,
can
I'm
always
kind of
brag.
fat, so I don't know if
You are not fat.
Not
Can
at
I
all.
brag on Acres Media and
Yes.
Style Magazine?
You can.
We like them a little bit.
Oh, I just need to, and only because the boss is sitting here.
Yes.
Dougie
Not
Fresh,
because
yes,
of
we
the
know.
boss is sitting. Amazing publication, well-written articles, showcases the area in such a positive light, professional light, quality, and the staff writers are so much fun to work with.
And they know talent when they see it. That's
Right.
why
Well, look
you're-
at y'all.
We
And
have
they
so
invited
much
you
fun.
as a guest.
That's right.
It must be a slow Tuesday.
We have so much fun doing this, and we just like to say we like to have conversations with people, get to know you, because sometimes we don't even do a lot of research before we come in.
I don't.
Because
I'm gonna be
we
honest,
want-
people. I don't do a lick
okay,
of
yeah.
research. at
She
all.
doesn't do research.
Why? I'm gonna talk to you. I don't. I'd rather hear you tell me
Right.
than I'm gonna read it online.
Right. That's why, and we like to be real about it. And like we told a few of our political guests when they were here, nobody comes in and tells us they're a horrible person, or right. You know what I mean?
I would never do that.
That's right. So you just want to get to know somebody, connect with them as a human, figure out what's going on. So we love it. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Let me ask you this before
Okay,
we
let's
move on to the next thing.
Hit me with it.
So, do you love Florida as much as you love Tennessee? You love it more? What's your favorite part? I mean, like
That is such a
'cause-
great question.
because there are big differences, huge differences.
Yeah, other than there's that orange. There's the orange discrepancy. There's Gator orange and there's UT Vault
Oh
orange.
God,
Yes.
they're both horrific.
Right? They both wear them in jail.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
I can't wear either color.
I'm using that. I'm
Yes.
using that.
And
I
for my Gator
loathe-
friends out
my
there-
daddy graduated from University of Georgia. Friend, we have never liked that color orange at all.
Yeah,
It's hideous.
Megan Maroney.
It's bad.
I get it. For my Gator friends that are listening, I love you too.
I do too.
Yes,
but
I
I
went-
hate
I'm
your
a
football team
criminal,
with
whatever you're
every
gonna say.
piece of my being. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I can't say much smack about football. Did you see FSU football? Have you? It's depressing.
It was one of the worst years of my life. And the worst part was listening to people that were Gator fans and they're obnoxious. Blech. But that's okay because this year, manifested it. We're going to be awesome. They're going to lose to us. And right back there at Ben Hill Griffin and all the right will be right with the world.
Take that, Gator.
Besides that, you got the mountains. Let me ask you this. The sunshine, it's way better here, isn't it?
It is. And to get back to your question of why I love Florida so much, I think it's because there's two growing ups. There's the growing up, the foundation with your family, blah, 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 the morals, the good stuff, don't steal, say yes, ma'am, no, sir, those sorts of things. But then there's when you get taken off the leash a little bit and you're able to actually grow up, and that's what happened in Florida.
Oh, see?
That's what happened in
That's
Florida.
the poor part of your life that, yes,
Yeah.
I like that analogy.
I like it too.
Well, at the end of 18, and I was blessed. My parents both sent me to a Church of Christ high school. I started out at Church of Christ University, and those that understand,
I grew up Church of God. I feel you.
I went to a Church of Christ high school for a year, so I get it.
oh, look at us, CSC. If I wasn't a good person by 18, then it was going to be,
It wasn't going to happen.
it
Yeah.
wasn't going to happen.
Hell needed to open its doors.
That dog wasn't going to hunt. Bless his heart.
Bless his heart.
But yeah, I had to come back to Florida. This is my happy place.
Yeah.
And Florida's so awesome. From Pensacola to the Keys, it's completely different.
I love my state. I have always loved the state.
We do have a great
It's a running joke. Everybody's like, "Are you ever going to leave?" I was like, "Why would I leave?"
Why?
Honestly, to me, I can get to the beach on either coast in a certain amount of time. There's lakes everywhere. The sun does not shine in any other state like it does here. And I love the sunshine.
And this year alone, there was more snow in Tallahassee than any other place in the
went.
United States. Yeah. What? You were there?
We went on a road trip.
We got a wild hair. She called and I said,
I'm
going to go see Anna Grace. My daughter, it's actually going to stay on the ground. It's going to stay on the ground. We did. We drove up there. And literally, it did. It was the most amazing thing. So cold, but so cool.
So I think Leon County now can be called the ski resort capital of Florida.
You're not wrong. We watched the students. Listen, talk about kids that know how to have a good time as Florida State University students. They had garbage can lids. They had anything they could find, just sliding down those wonderful hills.
Rubbermaid tub lids.
Yeah, it was awesome.
We had to do it. Well, I picked my kid up from school and we took a road trip.
Wouldn't want to do it all the time, but it was amazing.
We did have fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's weird to see snow on a palm tree.
Right?
Like you want to ask it, are you okay?
Even my dog was freaked out. She wouldn't go to the bathroom.
She did not like it. Her little I said her paws are burning. Her paws are burning.
Now, I've turned into a little bit of a wimp. So when I do go home to Nashville and it's in the wintertime and it gets chilly, I'm like, God, it's cold. And people just shake their heads.
I'm cold if it gets below like 75.
I'm cold today. I wore flip-flops because I thought it was going to be warm because the sun was out.
She did not check the weather app.
I did not check the weather.
I did. I always look at Mike's weather page on Facebook.
Oh, and the last storm, that stupid last storm, he was coming to Claremont, and I wanted to meet him because I'm a fan.
He's amazing. Right? He's not
I've
even.
never even heard of him, but
He's
I've got
not
him
even
now.
a meteorologist,
No.
and he's smarter than every single one of them. Oh, he's amazing. He predicts everything.
Did you get to meet him?
No, because he had to postpone it because of stupid Milton.
We're gonna start Facebook and I'm gonna tell him he's got to come back. He's amazing. You know, I had a friend tell me recently her husband's a lineman. She said the linemen look to see what he says, and that's a lot of how they determine where they're going. Not what the Weather Channel's saying, but what he says.
I do watch Fox 35 weather. I give them props.
Yeah.
Not a paid endorsement.
I didn't watch anything today, clearly, when I wore my flip-flops, so that's okay.
It's good. It's fine.
It's the first day of spring has already happened, so it's fine, and we're in Florida.
Absolutely.
It's fine.
You got a blooming idiot right here, so.
All right, we're going to take another quick break on that note. Thank you to our disability consultants and to Lake Center Home Care, and we'll be right back in just a moment.
Nobody wants an aging family member who is unable to care for themselves to be home alone. Lake Center Home Care believes the best healing happens when you are most comfortable. The company provides exceptional personal care in the comfort and privacy of your own home. Whether you need skilled nursing, physical therapy, home health aides, or companion services, your loved ones will enjoy peace of mind knowing you're being taken care of and treated with respect and dignity. Lake Center Home Care is locally owned and managed with a team of highly qualified professionals who are passionate about taking care of their neighbors. Call 352-315-0050 or visit golchc.com to learn more about this amazing company.
Welcome back to the Style Podcast. We are having a great conversation today with Steve McDonald, our new friend. We are so glad you're here with us.
I might be my favorite guest so far.
Yes, I think so.
Boom.
So we are so happy you're here with us today. But we are going to talk a little bit about real estate again. I told you before before we started taping that I spent 28 years. I started when I was 1 in banking and
You're a
financing
prodigy.
and mortgages. So over the years, I've noticed, like what you're just saying, when I first graduated from college, everything was crazy. Interest rates were 8-9%. Then they adjust. So what are you seeing? Because I was one of the lucky people who bought my house when it was 2.875%. But I also know between your escrows and the interest rate, you can get priced right out of a house right now. So maybe that has something to do with why people are waiting longer to buy houses, because you got to have more down. You got to have more repayment ability. Like, what are we doing? How are people handling this?
You bring up very good points. And I do want to touch on, not to ignore your question that you threw at me, but the mortgage component and the experience that you have. You understand to have a conversation with the buyer of, okay, there are options to get financing. And let's look at your situation. Are you a veteran? How do we access your veteran benefits? We're finding out that a lot of veterans, they come out of the military after serving our great nation, And nobody, number one, is taking care of them. They have to acclimate back to civilian life. And no one's ever said, let's look at your benefits and what this means.
Right.
Because the VA has some great opportunities for folks that served our country to get into homes.
Yep.
As it should.
Amen. Amen. But having that conversation of what kind of mortgage product is available, as a realtor, you're not going to give the financing advice. You're just going to get them to a table so that they can talk to a skilled person.
Right.
And the pricing, attainability, and affordability are great topics. Houses are expensive. Spending habits in America haven't changed.
But there's inflation issue and
Inflation issue. Interest rate, you can buy down a rate or you can have more down there, but you've got to have cash. Cash is king. Good credit.
Yep. Repayment ability.
Oh, you know what? You were in mortgage, right?
Yes.
So how many times did you tell someone that's buying a house, okay? They're excited, they understand,
Not to
you
go
say,
buy something.
do not buy something, do not go buy a boat, do not
Yep.
finance a pack of gum.
Yep.
And then they roll in, they're in a brand new Corvette. Look what I got. Well,
Don't buy your living room furniture until after you close on the
in the
loan.
house.
Yeah.
blow on the ink as it's drying.
Right. Yeah.
I always had really good people advising me, so I knew that. But I know there are people that have done that.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember
You
when
can
Mess
change
it
the
all up.
closing.
It changes everything.
If it
yeah.
changes your debt to income ratio, you're in trouble.
that's a good, yeah, I had another phrase in my head, but
I bet I like yours better, but they might edit it out.
yes, keep it PC.
Oh, yes. So with the real estate market in Lake County, so what kind of advice would you give to people that are wanting to purchase here? What would be your favorite area that you would say, why don't we check out this untapped gem?
I never want to steer anyone to a location because their tastes are different than mine.
Right, true.
And the beauty of Lake County, what is it, like 1,000 miles north to south? I drove it one day. I had to be way down like Wellness Way area. And then for whatever reason, I had to go north of Umatilla. And I was like, I'm never going to get to where I need
Yes.
Oh, no,
It's
it's
bigger than most
far.
people think.
It is.
From top to
And there's
bottom
nothing
and-
as the crow flies. You got to go all the way around everything. That's, yeah.
You know that crow sits outside my window now at like
Does he?
5:30?
Is he annoying?
He's endangered.
He should be.
He doesn't know it, but he's endangered.
I got you.
Yes.
No, but there's so many beautiful places, and it depends. Are you a lake person? Do you want some farmland? I mean, my goodness, Umatilla is gorgeous.
It is. It is. It really is.
And
There's.
the Surgeon General's from there.
Is that not the craziest thing on the planet? I mean, who'd ever thunk it?
Well, I was talking to someone. I will not disclose her name, but she's pretty awesome. Was in Leadership Lake. I love Leadership Lake. That's another day, another topic. But she's
I was in Leadership Lake
Team Green.
2007.
Team Green.
I was old. I was Team Green as well.
Oh, go Green.
Yes.
She was like, there's 15 people from Umatilla. I've never met her. I don't think she's from there. I'm like, well, how would you make that up?
Yeah. Why would
You wouldn't.
That'd be like
And
me
there's
saying-
actually way more than 15 people.
Right. That'd be like me
I know.
lying saying I
But
was
no,
from Center
that's
Hill.
the thing. It's not. It's also Umatilla. The thing about Umatilla that's so different than the rest of Lake County is they've stayed really small town. I mean, those fast food restaurants they have are very recent, and people are spread out more. So it's very easy to be from somewhere and not run into them. You know.
Well, and to steal the tagline from the Lake County folks, real Florida, real close. That's Lake County. It is the most genius marketing slogan that fits.
That is good. I hadn't heard that one yet.
Real Florida, real close. I hope they don't sue me for saying that.
No, I like it. We
We got you. I know some attorneys. We got you.
Kathleen Dial, don't sue me.
No, it is so cool. The Surgeon General's from there,
I didn't. Yeah, I
and
didn't
that they
know
said
until he
Umatilla
came to-
correctly when they said where she was from because
And she's stunning.
she is. And that's a lot of the people that have been chosen are. And you know what? I don't care what anyone says. Yes, we should be admired for our brains, but I think it says something when you take care of yourself. There, I said it. There. If that makes me vain, I don't care.
Does I get Botox?
Me too.
Yes, me too.
Me too.
Who doesn't?
Oh my
Well,
God,
a lot
it's
of
my
people, but-
favorite thing ever.
It's not my favorite thing. I did get
mine.
filler once, and
Me
the folks
too.
at the office will laugh if they do listen to this. I got a black eye from it. You know, there's always that little,
I've had
that
You're
little
gonna have
like.
to talk black eyes. You can
I'll
talk
wait
black
till
eyes
after and I'll show you a picture of what happened to me. But a good skilled injector, and I know a few, and they're amazing at their craft. Yeah, filler's not for everybody. Botox is one of those things that once you start getting it and it wears off and you're like, and I'll send a little text message. I'll be like, hey, friend, I need to come in after hours. You got to fix this. But yeah.
Real estate, right?
Yes, real estate. Yes.
Back to it. Okay, advocacy. We want to know how you advocate.
With over 1 million strong, like 1.5 million nationally, the greatest voice to get in front of our legislators in Capitol Hill to make them understand why it is important on private property rights. If we did not have that advocacy piece in Washington, bless their hearts, don't care what side of the aisle you're on.
Oh.
Not a political statement,
It's
boss.
a uni-party, friends.
Right.
I bless their hearts totally.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Tallahassee, or even here locally,
Right.
we don't have that advocacy piece to to speak on private property rights. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. So there's a lot of good things going on in Tallahassee. Thankfully, we have great relationships with some of your guests that you've had sitting right here. To have those conversations of what's going on. We're powered by Florida Realtors. The advocacy team, honestly, public policy in Tallahassee does a great job. I know this is being recorded. You can't see the talking points, but they put together and curate all of these talking points that we can get in front of legislators that cover, 1,300 or so bills a year. It could be more than that come across their desk so that they understand in layman's terms why this impacts them. There was a governor in Tennessee a while back. He gave you like 8 or 9 words. That's all. You had to formulate what you wanted to talk to him in 8 or 9 words. Because you think as a governor for a state, everybody's got an issue. But if you wanted to talk to him, you had to dial it back and give them. And that's what I love about these talking points is they're layman terms.
That's important because I think so many people that are, of course, in government, a lot of them are attorneys, and things that are written in a legal way, layman's terms is not their specialty. So it's hard for the regular person that hasn't gone to law school to understand stuff.
I didn't go to law school.
Me either. I should have.
Me either.
Didn't.
These are just people I'd like to sue.
Well, I like to argue.
We haven't argued one time.
That's because I like you. I knew I liked you.
If
soon
the
as I met you.
conversation goes on for a lot longer, y'all find something.
No, I don't
But
think so. I
healthy
think we
argument.
get it. Yeah, it would be healthy. No,
Healthy
No,
disagree.
we like the Seminoles.
That's right. That's
We like
right.
country music. I assume you
That's
like
right.
country
I
music.
do. I do.
We like all kinds of music. Yep. Love
So
it.
see?
He's from Tennessee. Family, Tennessee. What's not to like?
I agree.
I know we were talking about that. Tullahoma.
Is that not the craziest thing?
So I grew up in Hendersonville,
Okay.
which is where Johnny Cash walked the line. Johnny
Love
Cash,
it.
Conway Twitty, Taylor
My-
Swift. I don't know if you've ever heard of her. She has a small music career.
She might. Yeah, she
might
even
have-
dated a football player, I think, for a little bit, maybe.
Yep, she went to Hendersonville High School.
Interesting. I know it's funny, Lynchburg being right there, being in Dry County. When I was young, my grandmother would take me up to visit, and we would go to the Grand Ole Opry,
Yes.
Minnie Pearl.
Yeah.
I grew up on Elvira.
You know, Sarah Cannon has is moving a cancer institute down here at Lake Nona.
Oh,
Which I think
really?
is amazing. But Minnie Pearl with
That's
Sarah
very
Cannon.
cool.
The old school, that was one of the beauties of growing up in Nashville at the time I did. I was thankful, like, again, my parents sent me to a school that we got to see some country music greats. One of our neighbors, he wrote Every Light in the House is On.
I love that song.
Just, that's the fun stuff about Nashville.
Yes.
Is everyone either sells real estate or is in the music industry.
And they saw their market changed quite a bit over the past. I remember watching a show. There were sisters, I believe, that were on a show on TLC or HGTV that sold up there.
Whenever you say TLC, I think of the group.
Oh,
Now you're giving
Or
away our
Left Eye.
age for sure.
Or Left Eye. Let's talk about Scrubs later. But no, this has been a great conversation. I find the industry fascinating, absolutely fascinating.
You talked about Lynchburg and it being a dry county. It's interesting. They don't have enough folks that live there to have a voter referendum for liquor by the drink.
Seriously?
So when you buy Jack Daniels at the distillery, you're buying the bottle. And it just happens to have hooch in it.
I didn't know that. I had no idea.
That is so. I wonder if I could get away with doing something like that here. But anyway,
I love talking about whiskey and bourbon too.
oh do you?
Even though Church of Christ, sorry, we're not supposed to drink.
I was raised Southern Baptist, my friend, and I love talking about tequila and vodka. So, hey, we're all good in the hood.
Okay, earlier we were talking about affordability, home affordability, and I mentioned escrows, taxes, and insurance. What do you think about what's going on where they're talking about eliminating property taxes in Florida?
You want to talk about a news bite that everybody was like,
Yes.
Scooby-Doo, like, what did you say?
I love Scooby.
We're still trying to figure it out, even at the realtor level, because we have to have these conversations with buyers and sellers. I don't have all the information yet. I'm curious to see, based on a presentation that I just recently heard about the breakdown of our taxes here in Lake County, and I didn't hear the Sumter County side, but how much is paid to our first responders, our police force, that component, and then
Where's it
everything.
gonna come from?
Where is that money going to come from?
I'm sure we
good
can
point.
find it. We can find it. You know what you can do? You can trim the fat at some of these local government offices in our county. There's a few positions I'm sure we could let go of.
Hopefully not mine, but I'm not
Not yours. You're not a government
not a
employee.
government employee.
We don't. Yeah, no.
But it is a good conversation to have, and that's something that we're investigating on how that happens, because you have to have money to operate municipalities. We have to have police and first responders. You have to have the money for the roads, and the crazy thing, it's not, taxes. I'll stay. Sorry, I had a squirrel moment, but
I have those all the time.
yeah, it's got to come from somewhere.
It does.
The beauty about the homestead, folks that reside here, file the homestead. It's super easy. It will reduce your taxes. You know, folks that come in here from out of state, maybe they still have another home where they moved from, but now they've moved their primary residence here. You know, talk to your CPA, talk to your tax advisor, talk to your realtor about the homestead that could save you some money. What goes on in Tallahassee is that, proposal of doing away with property taxes. It's got to come from somewhere.
It does. But we also are probably one of the largest tourist places. You know, consumption tax. I'm big on consumption tax. I'm double property taxed. I live in a city and a county.
Yeah, me too.
So I get taxed by Fruitland Park and I get taxed by Lake County. I pay my taxes this next year almost $6,000, and I do not live on the water.
Can't hide money.
I'm a little confused because I'm thinking my friends on the water aren't paying that much more. I think too, what you can do is maybe raise the homestead. If you're not going to completely do away with them, find a way to, because there are people that retire, their income is less, they own their home outright, but then they're still paying these taxes every year, and it's a burden for them.
It is a burden. It scares me to think what I need to prepare myself for, unless the Lord calls me home, and then it's all on you, Visa, to get the money.
That's right.
But what do you do when you're trying to fix your
know.
income at a certain
Right.
level, and then taxes go way up? Or if you live in a condo and the HOA is like, oh, it's a $40,000 assessment or more. Well, where's that?
Oh yeah, and they do that quite often on the coast. It is, and it's scary, but it's nice to know there's people like you that can help decipher the information.
Bless my heart.
So tell me, what does the Realtors Association do for us? Like,
Why join?
why join? Yeah, explain it. Because all of us have heard the term. We know what the term means with the little trademark thing beside it, but what do you do?
Oh, and that little donk, donk, donk.
Yeah.
That's who we are. You're empowered by a realtor member that has to subscribe to a code of ethics, a strict code of ethics. Back 100 some odd years ago, it was a wild, wild west, listing and selling real estate. And folks back then saw it be an issue, established a code of ethics that a realtor member prescribes to. They take the education every 3 years to ensure they're a member. But furthermore, you have access through Florida Realtors to all of the contracts to help you facilitate the transaction successfully. The education component is so important. You know, education is a cure-all for ignorance, and ignorance not in a bad light, just unknowing. And this is the single greatest transaction in someone's life that they may do 3 times in their lifetime. 3 times, huge investment. You want somebody that has had the education to get you to a successful closing. We have a tech hotline. It can even come down to Christmas time and your kid gets a new toy and you don't know how to set it up and it's electronic. You can call the tech helpline. They'll have access into your computer. Furthermore, you get access to all the services that help you be business sustainable at the local and state level. There's the networking opportunities, yes, but it's all in how you function. It's all in how you want your experience to be. You go to a conference, if you're thinking about it as a network and referral generation in addition to professional development, you're going to succeed because you're going to make those connections. This is a connection business. That's how we got here today.
Yeah.
And I hope we continue this conversation.
Right.
But everything that we do, is through a strategic plan for visioning. We look into the horizon to see what the real estate market's going to do. We're governed by a set of bylaws, and we are led by a board of directors.
Bless your heart for joining us today.
Oh, this was so much fun.
I know, it was
appreciate
fun.
this. Thank you for giving me a platform to at least talk just a scooch about realtors, the amazing work that a realtor does to
They are amazing.
ensure
Amazing.
that generational wealth is created for a family. We should be considered as advocates and professionals.
Well, I will be honest. Like I said, I don't know if I said on the break or on camera, but it's so important. I don't think people realize. They think, oh, I'll just sell my house myself. But the experience and the knowledge that they bring to the table, the little tweaks that they can help you make, and the marketing and the relationships they've already
Contracts.
established.
I'm thinking contract.
All those things. I think it's just a huge service that people really. It's completely worth the commission because you're probably going to get a better sale price anyway with someone.
It is fact that for sale by owners, and some people do it very successfully, and that's great. I mean, that's the beauty of owning your own home and being able to do whatever the hell you want with it. But it is, you're not doing yourself a service. It is stated that for sale by owners do not receive the same same sales transaction or the same. What am I trying to say
Price.
here?
Profit,
Price,
profit, whatever.
as
Yeah.
one that's on the open market.
Right. And it makes sense.
It does.
We want it to make sense and dollars and cents.
We like dollars and cents.
Yes, we do.
We like the dollars the best.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
We just love meeting you.
That we got to meet you. We're so pleased you took the time to come today. So we appreciate it. Thank you for joining us on the Style Podcast. We would like to also thank our sponsors, Disability Consultants and Lake Center Home Care. We'll see you next time.
I loved him.
We made a new friend.
Oh my God, yeah, totally. He's amazing. I can only imagine how the people, realtors, I say it right, in the association with him, he probably makes them feel just like he did with us. Like he's their friend, he's helping
we've known him
them.
100 years.
Yes,
Yeah.
like you've known him for forever. He was amazing. So much fun. I'm gonna have to go out and do tequila shots with him.
Yeah.
He can do bourbon, I'll do tequila.
Yeah, he was great. And I liked the fact that he's real.
Oh, completely. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
you never know what you're walking
He was
into.
not stuffy at all.
No, I like that
He
a
was
lot.
so easy to talk to, and I didn't know what to expect coming into it. So I really, really loved him a lot. He
We
was
made
great.
a new friend.
And he was a Florida State fan and graduate.
Yeah, we made a new friend.
Perfect.